Welcome to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show, where we talk about food, fashion, finance, and foundations of life. We are live on KCAA Radio Broadcasting Network. KCAA is affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports. We are sponsored by Sheltered Studios, Fire Up Connect, and Building Solid Foundation.
Welcome back to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show. I am your host, Teresa Lawrence. Today our guest is Alexandra Ruiz, and we are talking about her journey going into medicine and then becoming a women's empowerment coach and her process of turning into a true leader. Where we last left off, you had just told your parents that you were leaving traditional medicine to go and start your own practice of mentoring. Mm-hmm. So let's continue, because it's quite juicy. I love it.
Well, what I loved is that just before the break, you had mentioned to everyone listening, all of us are children at some point in our life, so to all the children and adult children, she had said, had given you permission, had encouraged you and motivated you to go ahead and express your true passions in your life journey in terms of your vocation. Do what you feel meant to do, what you are driven to do. Be who you feel personally inside, not whom you feel pressured to be by others, not only to seek approval by peers or parents or anyone else. I'm so glad that we are returning so that I can respond to this because indeed, one of my largest struggles, and probably why I am one of the larger proponents of people gaining in self-leadership, is because I had issues growing up with being able to express myself. I had well-meaning parents. A lot of parents are well-meaning. It's just that they were role modeled in ways that were very pressuring, over-controlling, and at times even abusive. But that's not where we're going with this story. What we're talking about here is everyone in a family doing their very best. And when parents have not been role modeled or taught properly where to go, there is more learning that can happen for both the parents and the children. So in my case, when I grew up and my parents were very much directing my actions toward what would take care of their needs or satisfy them in certain ways, even though they loved us for ourselves, there was still this kind of a slant. I knew very well, by the way my mother would brag about my being pre-med even when I was 11 or 12 years old.
That's a very big deal for parents.
Exactly, exactly. I knew that some part of her world would crash if I didn't. And I know that sounds like an exaggeration.
It doesn't for me. I'm an immigrant, and it's a big deal to have your child.
We share a lot.
Yeah.
My mother is from Mexico and very hardworking and very ambitious. And so whatever she didn't have, she wanted her children to have. And that's a lovely desire. In terms of execution, she succeeded in many ways with me. However, in terms of my being able to grow freely into my adult self, when I had very controlling parents who did not want us to question anything, and now I'm going into my adolescence and I still could not question directives they gave that did not make sense, I felt that I was growing into a partially paralyzed adult mold. Imagine what it was like when I graduated from college and began medical school and then began clinicals, going to see patients in the office, in the hospital, and begin to direct them, give orders to nurses and other people. You have no idea what a growth curve it was for me to go from not being allowed to stand up to my mother, not being able to express my own anger, and sense of self-righteousness. I wasn't allowed to say how things could be better or give any input. We did not have family discussions like, the ideal
You're not alone.
taught.
This is really important stuff you're sharing. So many people are going through that right now.
And I'm speaking to the hearts of all of you who have even had a shadow of this. I needed to gather the wherewithal within myself to allow enough confidence to build up that I could give orders without hesitation, that I could give enough directive with enough, how shall I say, I already had the fund of knowledge. It's simply a matter of convincing, persuading, or selling myself, and therefore selling the treatment to the person that I was taking care of so that that person would then be more compliant. Because my biggest drive was to help heal others. And if I could not do that, of course, then what am I doing being a physician? I fortunately did work on this and overcame all this. So much so that after I finished one residency, I decided to turn around and do another one. And was even strongly considered for chief resident in my second residency training program. The thing was that because I noticed some things were kind of missing. For one thing, in psychiatry at least, we were told that we were not to talk about religion, God, or politics. Okay? Now, I have no problem with politics. That has no place in my office, right, when I'm taking care of people's health. However, I do love, if someone is spiritual, if they are devout in their religion, wherever their faith may be, being able to discuss that and being able to incorporate other features of treatment, being mindful, meditating, prayer, and more.
Aren't there studies that show that people who have faith heal better?
Yes.
It might be the placebo effect, but I believe in faith.
And you're a lawyer, right?
Oh, yes, but I went through my own process with my parents.
Well, thank you. I was going to say, this is something that doctors usually quote, and you did. I'm impressed. Yes, actually, when I was a psychiatry resident, what I had found out was that there was a research study done right around then where there was a control group of people with certain medical maladies, hospitalized, and other people hospitalized for very similar things. And the control group was not prayed for, but the other group was. And when the other group was prayed for or prayed over by a certain number of people over a certain amount of time, those people had not only better mortality, but they also had better morbidity. Those are just words. Let me rephrase that. Just about every single person who was prayed over lived longer and lived healthier. They had a lighter case of whatever that malady was. And so it was perfectly proven that prayer makes a difference. When someone is praying, someone is speaking to a higher power with intent to help another. It doesn't matter what laws, what religion, none of that really matters at the truest core or essence. The fact that someone is acting out of love for someone else and appealing to the universe, to a force, a larger force within the universe, this is real, and it changes things. And I am not afraid to speak about this and to act on this when I am helping my people.
So you've integrated that into your practice.
Exactly. So when I say empowerment mentor, what I am doing is I am helping others not only with my psychiatric background, with coping skills, with education, with communication, all those more superficial psychological and interactional aspects. I'm also going into my heart, deeper into my soul, and am sharing with you from a higher divine love, and we may have a conversation around that, and I may do energy healings. And again, when I say healings here, it's not in the strict American medicine sense. I am talking about healing your heart, healing your hurts. Okay? This is what makes me sing in the morning. I never know who I'm going to see. I don't know what their problems will be. I just know that when I connect to a higher power, everything flows.
No, that's beautiful. I feel the energy, and I honestly totally get your healing power. It's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I love the description of what you do, but tell me about, and we don't really have enough time in this segment, so we're going to continue afterwards. If you could describe for me your coaching program, the process that a client would go through, that would be lovely.
So, I know that I don't have much time before that next break, but I can give you a headline.
Okay.
I do mentorship in different levels. I have one-on-one mentorship where I go really deep in with a person's unique situation, and then I've got the group. And when we come back, I can go through the different layers and different factors that I go through with everyone who sees me.
Thank you so much. It's time for a commercial break. You're listening to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Talk Show. I am your host, Teresa Lawrence, and when we return, we're going to learn about Eve's coaching program.
Welcome to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show, where we talk about food, fashion, finance, and foundations of life. We are live on KCAA Radio Broadcasting Network. KCAA is affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports.